Hello and welcome back to Kim's Cozy Corner. I'm in the garden again and I'm planting more vegetables. It is finally warm enough for me to plant some of my warm season crops. So I've checked the next 10 days, and for the next 10 days, my lows are in the 50s, my highs are in the 80s. The soil has warmed up, and so I am going to go ahead and start planting some of my tomatoes. If you'll remember, I have 106 spots, but I have over 200 tomato plants. So we're going to try to make sure I get at least one of the 58 varieties. Yes, 58 plus. I think I lost count, to be honest with you. But I'm going to try to get at least one of every variety that I have. And so I'm going to just get right to it. My beefsteak indeterminate tomatoes are going along this trellis right here. And I have several different varieties. So I've already planted a couple. I have my bodacious, my steak sandwich, and I have quite a few more over here that I'm going to start putting in the ground. And I just figured I would just bring you along with me. Hopefully you can hear me okay, because it's such a nice day. Everybody wants to be outside and everybody wants to cut their grass now that I want to record a video. You know, that's how that goes, right? I try to put my tomatoes in by the way I divide them up from a variety standpoint. So we're going to have all beefsteak, those big, thick, meaty slicers. That's what's going in this bed here. We are going to add super steak next. The way I like to plant my tomatoes, one is to bury as much of the stem as I possibly can. So that's the first thing. And everybody says that you need to space your tomatoes out about 18 inches. I plant mine closer than that. I use the square foot gardening method, which says that your tomato plants could be spaced out about a foot apart. So let's start with the super steak. So it's been so cool and so wet that all of my tomato plants have gotten kind of lanky. So I want to bury as much of this plant as I possibly can. The roots still look really nice. They're not root bound or anything like that. I'm going to add some mycos and just a little bit of organic fertilizer to the hole. Now I have fertilizer throughout this bed, but just a teeny bit in the hole. I'm going to put the mycos right on the tomato plant, and I am going to lay it down on its side like this, and in a couple of days it'll stand up. By laying it on the side, I can get more of the stem under the ground. The more stem under the ground you have, the stronger the stem will be. And I'm labeling everything because I want to find out which of these I really like most, so I don't have to plant almost 60 varieties of tomatoes in the future. But I probably would do it again, just to be honest. I know me. So I got bodacious, steak sandwich, super steak. I'm going to actually zigzag these just a little bit, giving them the space they need, but letting me lay it on the side to put more of the stalk under the ground. Where's my other watermelon beefsteak? There's one already missing. Did I take it out? You see, there's one missing out of this container. That's really weird. Did I pull it out already? So the next one here is watermelon beefsteak. Laying it down on its side, covering it up. It's happy. It's been wanting to spread its legs for a long time, but the weather just did not want to play nice. That's just weird. I don't have any watermelon in the garden yet. So what did I do with the thing? Anyway. All right. I'm going to keep on moving. Next, we're going to put a delicious in the bed. I grew delicious last year and they were delicious. They were a nice, big, meaty tomato. Boy, I tell you, if my head wasn't attached, I would lose it right about now because I keep losing everything. I've pulled out a plug of my watermelon beefsteak and I have no idea where it is. I mean, at all. I have no clue. I don't know if I accidentally covered it up with the soil, but it's gone forever. It's going to be growing somewhere. I'm like, how did that get there? And I believe that's all of the different varieties I have of my beefsteak type tomatoes. Bodacious, steak sandwich, super steak, watermelon, delicious, that I'm putting in this space anyway. Let me be clear, that I'm putting in this space. I still have my Paul Robeson, which is a decent size tomato plant, but it has another place. And I have my giant crimson. I should put a giant crimson in here. So we will do a giant crimson next. Giant crimson. And now I'm gonna follow that pattern all out again. Everybody's been talking about my wonderful little seat that I have here. It's just a toddler's toy. I actually have a step stool I normally sit on, and it's okay, but every time I need to move down, I gotta stand up, I gotta pick it up, I gotta move it down. This toy just rolls right in between my beds. I never have to get up. I love it. And so many people have asked me about it. It's a toddler's toy. Now I am, like I said, planting them fairly close together, but I will be often pruning them and trimming all of the excess leaves down low, pulling all the suckers off. I will probably train them to 2 liters. So there will be 2 liters coming off of each one of these, and we should be in good shape. I have been known to plant too close, but last year I did this and it worked wonderful. So we'll follow that same process. After super steak, I got watermelon coming up next. And I've lost one of them, so I don't know where the other watermelon went. That watermelon ran away. It just ran completely away and says, I don't want to be planted, because I have no clue where it is. I'm done. I don't have nowhere else to put that. I got after super steak was what? Watermelon, and then what? Delicious. And then I'm out of room. All right. Lord have mercy. What did I just put in here then? Super steak? Steak sandwich, super steak. Okay, and then what? Okay, so I didn't get a delicious in here. Okay, that's it for this bed for now. We're gonna go to another bed and work on, hopefully you can still see me. We're gonna go on down here to this next bed and we're gonna work on just traditional red slicers, not necessarily beefsteak, just red slicers and cherry tomatoes. So let me move you on down. All right, I'm in some of my older bed space, and in this space here, I can't get my seat in here, so I'm gonna have to try to sit on the edge of the bed here. So in this space here, I am doing red slicers and something called terracotta, as well as cherry tomatoes. So I usually end up with so many cherry tomatoes. I have way more plants than I really need. And here's a volunteer tomato plant coming up right now. I had cherry tomatoes in this space here last year, and they're already trying to come back up here. But in this space this year, I'm putting slicers up here, and I'm gonna put cherry tomatoes down there, and here's another and another and another. So they are volunteering all over the garden. They do it every year, especially since those pesky squirrels like to eat my tomatoes and leave seeds everywhere. But I'm gonna act like they're not there, and I'm gonna set these beds up for my slicers. So we're gonna start with the giant crimson, and in my gardener is brought giant crimson back. They were, it's just out of circulation. He found some old seeds, he germinated the seeds, and now he's actually selling those seeds. So we will plant that in this bed here. Giant crimson. And I've never had it, but I would love to be a part of the team to bring something back. It's an heirloom, of course. Now, everything in my raised beds over here are indeterminate tomatoes. Indeterminate tomatoes, they grow and grow and grow like a vine as long as you trellis them up. And that's what these cattle panel trellis are going to do for me. I will be growing some dwarf tomatoes or determinate tomatoes that only get roughly 3 to 4 feet tall. And just because something gets only 3 to 4 feet tall does not necessarily mean that is a determinate versus indeterminate, because some of them will put tomatoes on all year long and some will put them all on at one time and then they will stop. So just because it's a dwarf does not mean that it won't put tomatoes on the whole season. So there's the giant crimson. Woo, I'm old. I can't sit like this long. We're going to put an Abe Lincoln in next. Tell you, the roots on these things look really well. And I've had them hardening off outside, honestly, for probably a good month, because I would bring them out on those warm days, and if it got bad, I would bring them back inside. So they are definitely ready to get in the ground. The next one is terracotta. We're putting the Costalie in next. In this bed here, I'm going to be growing my paste tomatoes. So anything that's good for making sauces, sauces, pizza sauce, spaghetti sauce, sloppy joes, ketchup, all of that kind of stuff are, I use the paste tomatoes because they're very meaty with very small seed cavities. And so I'm planting pink oxheart, Italian heirloom, which could be kind of like a beefsteak. It's so big and it did really well for me last year. I'm doing Big Mama now. So let me get that one in the ground next. And I went ahead and up potted this one because it was so lanky and so unhappy. So I up potted this one last week just to give me a little more time. I've been traveling for business for the last 2 weeks, so I haven't had a lot of time in the garden, and I did not want it to get so lanky that it was just unmanageable. The next paste tomato is a Gilberty, I think is how you say it. It's supposed to be 6 to 7 inches long, very long, like a traditional paste tomato, but it's supposed to be longer. And I've never tried it. It's new to me this year. I got it from M.I. Gardener, and it looked good. It looked like it would, in my mind, replace my San Marzina or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. I was planning on growing it this year and changed my mind when I found these Gilberty. And there's another one that's very similar to it that I'm going to plant. I'll give you the name of that one in just one moment. The next paste tomato is a, let's see if I can pronounce it because I'm going to mess it up. Y'all know I'm going to mess it up. So let's see how bad I mess it up. Fertile, something like that. If you watch the seeds that I'm starting, the tomato seeds I'm starting, there's videos and it shows exactly all of the different tomatoes I'll be growing this year. I believe it's called I Have a Tomato Problem or 51 tomatoes or something like that. I'll put it the name of the video right here so you can see all the different types of tomatoes I'm growing. And my issue is I have 106 spots. At the time I had 58 tomatoes to choose from, and I narrowed it down to like 54 or 5, but then since then I've planted like 3 or 4 more other varieties. So I didn't limit anything at all. Nothing was limited. I don't even remember if I put anything in this hole or not. So yeah, I didn't cut it down. I tried. I know I had tomato seeds in the house that I know I didn't do any starts. So I still didn't plant everything I have. I probably have easily 100 different types of tomatoes, seeds, tomato seeds. And I ended up with over 200 plants. And I'm going to have a garage sale tomorrow. So I need to definitely get the tomato. See, I'm getting ready to mess up. Thank you, Tina. Get the tomatoes that I want first before I have the garage sale, because it wouldn't look right. Somebody say, I want that tomato plant. I'm like, you can't have it. I'm using that one. So I want to make sure that I pick what I want first before I put them out there for the public. I think I have all of the different types of paste tomatoes that I'm growing. So now I'm going to repeat. In this bed, if you can't see here, I have, now what is this? Is it leeks or tomato, or I have some type of onion growing here. It's either, I believe it's leeks. No, it's not. I have an onion growing here. I don't know what onion it is now. I don't see my tag for it, so I'm not sure what onion I put here or if it's a leek growing on the very edge of the bed here. And then the tomatoes are it's the main event for this bed. And then on the back side here, I have some broccoli. And again, I'm staggering these. I'm putting one just behind the trellis and then one in front at a diagonal, so I can try to get more on this trellis so I can put them just a little closer together. I asked several videos ago, how much should I sell my transplants for at the garage sale? And people told me $2, $2.50. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do $2 a plant. I was worried about them being too lanky, but I think they look okay. I don't think they're that bad. Italian Heirloom and Big Mama did very, very well last year for me. The Italian Heirloom was huge. I mean, it was some of the biggest paste tomatoes I had. That's one of the reasons why I am not growing some of my Italian Romas and different types of Romas this year, because they're just so tiny. I mean, tiny, tiny, that I'm not even interested in dealing with anything that small if I don't have to. I also try not to disturb my beds as much as possible. I will, kind of turn the top 3 or 4 inches of the soil just to mix in new fertilizer, new organic matter. But other than that, I don't do a lot to my beds. And I would love to say that, I truly believe in the no-dig garden, but in all honesty, I'm just lazy. And when I heard about the no-dig garden, I said, oh, that'll be my excuse. That's why I'm doing it. It's because of the no-dig garden. That's why I'm doing it. That's exactly why I'm doing it. But the honest truth, I'm just lazy. And if I can get good production and not have to turn my bed, I'm going for it, because I'm always looking for the quickest, easiest, most efficient solution. This is where I'm going to have to end the video today. It got late and I was tired, so this is where we stopped. I wanted to show you a final picture of how one of the beds looked as I completed it. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel and come back here again real soon. Thank you so much and have a wonderful, blessed day. Bye-bye.